growing discord between Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has reached beyond the point of reconciliation, and the leaders are openly taking potshots, are at each on social media. The war of words escalated this week as Zelensky rejected Orban's Christmas ceasefire proposal. Zelensky accused Orban of fostering excessively warm ties with Russian President Vladimir Putin, further straining relations between Kyiv and Budapest. Framing his ceasefire initiative as a humanitarian gesture, Orban's proposal was met with skepticism in Kyiv, intensifying the rift between the two leaders and raising questions about Hungary's positioning in the ongoing Ukraine-Russia conflict. During a press briefing after the European Council meeting in Brussels, Zelensky criticized the proposal, questioning its seriousness. He pointed out that such initiatives should not be announced through media channels, especially when they concern Ukrainian lives.
I did not have any conversation with the Prime Minister of Hungary. To be honest, I think that this is not really serious when we talk about different initiatives which are connected with Ukrainian lives, and when we find out about these initiatives from mass media. I have already mentioned that the Prime Minister of Hungary, with all respect to the Hungarian people, to Hungary and for their treatment of Ukrainian refugees, but with all respect, the Prime Minister doesn't have a personal mandate to organize negotiations, and his relationship with Putin is a bit too warm in order to actually put Putin in his place.
Earlier, Orban had laid out his proposal for a ceasefire and a large-scale prisoner exchange, describing it as straightforward and humane. His emphasis on simplicity, however, failed to gain support from Ukraine.
The plan is on the table. That is, you can take it or leave it. So it's a very simple idea. It's not a complicated, bureaucratic plan. It's a very simple human plan. Just don't let thousands of young guys to die at Christmas time. That's so simple. And change the big quantity of numbers of war prisoners. Let them go home to their family for the Christmas days.
Russian President Vladimir Putin weighed in on Orban's effort, shedding light on their conversation and Ukraine's outright rejection of the plan.
The Hungarian Prime Minister, Mr. Orban, approached me with this proposal. He told me so. I think Viktor will not be angry with me if I reveal at least part of our conversation. He says, well, what's it worth to us? To stop fighting for a day, for 2 days. Christmas truce. Nothing the enemy can do in those 2 or 3 days. I said, well, yes, that's probably true. But you talk to the Ukrainian side first, I said. We have agreed at least 3 times to events of this kind. On shipping in the Black Sea, on energy infrastructure, and so on.
Putin also recalled past attempts by Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to broker a truce, only to see similar resistance from Kyiv. His account further underscored Ukraine's refusal to engage in mediated peace efforts.
Erdogan suggested to me to ask the president. He suggested it to me as a mediator, and I said I had to think about it. Then the next day I called him saying we agreed. And suddenly the head of the Ukrainian regime announces that there will be no negotiations, no ceasefire. Then I called Erdogan and he said, well, that's the kind of partners we have. I said, okay. Now I asked Orban. He offered a Christmas truce. He offered a prisoner exchange. I didn't refuse. I said, generally speaking, we have to think about it, but you have to ask them, the Ukrainian side. He asked. The next day, the head of the regime said that there would be no truce, no exchange of prisoners.
Zelensky's firm dismissal of Orban's overtures underscores the deep-seated mistrust between Kyiv and Budapest. Hungary's past attempts to mediate, coupled with Orban's perceived proximity to Putin, have drawn criticism from EU leaders, who view Budapest as a disruptor of European unity on Ukraine. The tensions highlight the inherent challenges of negotiating peace in a conflict marked by entrenched positions and fractured alliances. Orban's proposal, though framed as a compassionate gesture, has so far done little to ease hostilities. With Christmas nearing, the prospect of a ceasefire appears bleak. Orban's call for peace has instead spotlighted the intricate web of relationships and rivalries shaping the Ukraine-Russia war, leaving both sides firmly entrenched in their positions.